Kayla.
And I'm Becky.
We're from A Couple of Bees Read, in case you follow our blog. And today is our first week of Weekly Wine. That's where we drink wine and we review a novel for you. And this week is Becky's week, so please tell us all about the wine we're drinking.
Okay. This is fun. This is our first time to do this. I'm actually a consultant for Scout and Cellar Wines. And I also am a member of the Scout Circle, which means I get a certain number of bottles either every month, every other month, every 3 months, just depending on what I want. And this week, my wines came in, and so we're going to look at the wine, taste the wine, from Conte de la Terre, which means Tale of the Earth. And it is a Pinot Gris. I have never had a Pinot Gris before, so this will be a first for us. It's very clear. Okay, let's see. Smells very fresh.
You can smell the fruit. You can smell
a little
the lemon.
tart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I like that.
That is good.
I usually prefer red wines, but one thing that I have learned by being a member of the Scout Circle is the owner of our company, she's the one that chooses the wines that come out, and it's a surprise. So it's like, hello, a Christmas present every time I get a box, because I don't know what's going to be in it, and it's just really wonderful.
It's a Christmas present for me, too, because I get to help her taste it.
Right, I get to share it. So this particular winery is in Willamette Valley, Oregon, and what's unique about our wines is that they are clean, crafted wines, and by that I mean there are no pesticides used in the winery. There are no artificial flavors or artificial colors or anything like that. No added sugar and to any of our wines. And the core value of our company is authenticity. And you think, okay, well, that's a big word. What in the world does that mean when you come talking about wines, you know? Well, what it means is that when you taste this wine, you're actually getting it in its most authentic form. It's like you're getting what the wine tastes like from the grape without anything else interfering with that taste. So this is a Pinot Gris, and I do have to say I have my own rating system. If it's a gold star, that means, hey, I like this so much that it goes on my list that I would add to actually order this again, and I would order individual bottles of it. And so I think this one's going to have a gold star.
Oh, yeah, sure. Definitely. And I'm not a huge white wine fan, but it's super rich. It's a very full flavor. And you mentioned before that because these are clean wine, authentic wine, it doesn't use pesticides.
Right.
So people don't react as badly.
That's right.
I won't get a headache tomorrow from drinking this.
No, not at all.
Which is great because I'd actually, before you started working with them, I'd stopped drinking wine for a while because I could have one glass and have a headache the next day. Right. I guess that's just getting into my 30s, but...
Nah. Well, we don't talk age. I mean, I'm like 30 plus, older than 30, so, you know, but that's okay too. But one of the things, one of my uplines, she has a huge testimony about it. She was having some major health problems, and her family actually owned a winery, and so it was really interfering, with her job and everything. But come to find out, they discovered what it was, and it was coming from things that had been added to the wines and things that she was having, to deal with on a daily basis. And so she actually joined this company, and just to hear her talk about everything she went through and then what she came out of it, after she joined this company, and, how it just enriched her life and done a lot of things. So, and that's, why we're here. But in this wine, it kind of has notes, like you said, you mentioned the lemon.
Yes.
Which is very unusual. I never think of lemon as something you find in wine.
But the past two wines we've had have had
lemon in it, and I've really liked that a lot. Also, peaches and pears, and it actually pairs well, of course, with fish, with vegetables, and something I found interesting that I didn't know until I started in the company is that the wines are vegan and gluten-free.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you're on a gluten-free diet, then the wines are good because they're not going to affect that in any way. But not only does it pair well with fish and vegetables and soft cheeses, it pairs well with the book that I'm going to review, which is The Marsh Queen. This book, I came about knowing about it through a new book club. And we've been members of Book of the Month for quite some time now, and it's an older established book club. And I was pretty excited about the fact that there's a new book club out there, and as members we can get in on the ground floor first month. And the book club I'm talking about is the Aardvark, and I think it's so cute. It's the Aardvark book club, and this was my first box. And you look at it and you go, why in the world did they choose the name Aardvark? That's just so odd, But when you read about it, the Aardvark is the first word in the dictionary, and then it's just such it's one of those creatures that's just so ugly it's cute. And it's got funny looking little ears, and so they made this cute little their little bookmark has its little ears on it, and it's real cute. And I have to brag on the book club as far as the customer service. I had a question because it ranks when you go to your profile, it says you've been a member, however many months. Well, it said I'd been a member 1 month, and I was like, no, I ordered the very first month. This should be 2 months. So I sent them an email and say, why is it listed this, this is this way? And I'm literally within minutes, I had a reply from them, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty quick. And I belong on Facebook and Instagram to the Aardvark Book of the Month groups, and they said the same thing, that anytime they send an email, it is literally within minutes or so, someone is getting back with them. And since it was their first month, and that is how I found out about the Marsh Queen, because it was listed there and that was my choice of the month, I got an email about, I'd say 2 weeks after I ordered, just kind of wondering when, they were going to come in, because it was their first month. And we know the first of everything has glitches in it, and you have to learn, you have to go. So they contacted all of us, and they said, we know that the book has not come out in the timely fashion in which we wanted it to, because of, we know there's supply chain issues in the country and different things. They said, so we want to give you a free book. Hey, I'm all about free books. So, So my box came in, and I opened it up. My Marsh Queen was there, and then I got to choose another book, and so this was my free book. And I've read Just Kid before, and Things in Jars, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm anxious to read this as well by her. So I was really excited that, I got 2 books for the price of one. So again, I'm just going to brag on their customer service and everything. And so if you haven't joined that club, at least take a look at it. So, and I do want to talk about the Marsh Queen, though. That's the second part of here. Virginia Hartman, she is a professor at George Washington University, and she leads at the Writers Center. And I know that we're all familiar with the book Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody and people, that was one reason I love that book so much. And some of the reviews said this had the hint of Where the Crawdads Sing. And in a way it does, but yet I feel like it's totally different than, the Where the Crawdads Sing. The girl, the main character in this book, Lonnie, she's an artist. She draws birds, and it is in the marshlands of Florida. And she is now currently living in Washington. She works for the Smithsonian Institute, which has been her dream since she was a little girl. She found them Smithsonian magazine, fell in love with the drawings, and that's how she became interested in that. And her father, who is at the center of a crime in this book, and he ends up dying, and he is the one, though, that when he found out this is something she was really interested in, he took her to a university bookstore, and he bought her first sketch pad and her first, pencils and things.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said he's at the center of a crime?
Yes.
Okay, if y'all haven't followed the blog, thrillers, mystery, crime, that's my thing. So please give me more information on the crime.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not about giving spoilers. And if I tell you what...
But is it a good crime? Is it juicy?
It is interesting because...
Is he like the villain?
Or just at one point in here, you think he's the villain.
So a good dad, but possibly a villain in a crime.
Could be. And now I will warn you, they do talk about suicide in here, but that gets, taken care of somewhere along the way. How people deal with that. It's not the main. It doesn't bog you down in that it would, I don't know, trigger. I don't think it would trigger someone. If that is something that is really so heartfelt to them, having had personal, I guess, experience with that. It's not that into it, but it's there. That hint of it is there. And I will say that the people in the book, they don't always turn out to be as they seem.
Nice.
So I don't like to give spoilers, but I will say this: I really enjoy the book. It's not what I would consider a page turner, and you just can't wait to get to the next page to find out what happens. It's not that intense, but for me, it was a page turner because I loved her writing. And some authors, they give you details, and the details bog the story down, and you can't move forward, and it's like, oh my gosh, will they ever quit describing, I don't know, a tree or the atmosphere or the person or the town or the car.
Any Charles Dickens book ever?
Yes, that kind of thing. But she does give a lot of details, but for me, the details were really what made it, because it put me in the marshland. It put me in the canoe with Lonnie as she, paddled through the marsh herself, as she drew the birds. It talked about how she did it, and, some people might not like that, but I just felt like I was there with her drawing birds. I was there with her, and as she draws it, she talks about what's going on in her life, what has been in the past, what the future might be, and it kind of it just brings memories back up to her, and you're kind of experiencing a lot of things. So it's not just, hey, here's a girl drawing a bird and that's it. There's a lot more to it than that. That little scene takes you in more directions. There is a love interest in the book, and I love contemporary women's fiction. That's,
right.
I love that. But there's a little bit of that in there, not a lot. And that's why I like the book. It had a lot of things in it. It had the murder, it had the mystery, it had the crime, it had the struggle about, I have achieved in my life what I want. I have this perfect life, and now I'm drawn back to my little southern town in Florida on the Marsh, and I'm having to relive all this stuff that I wanted to leave behind, but I'm having, to deal with a mom who is having to be put in assisted living because she's not able to take care of herself anymore, and so there's a lot of struggle going on with the brother and his wife, and how they're dealing with the home. Probably, I have friends who are going through the same thing, and I think you can relate to that. And I just cannot say enough how much I love Virginia Hartman's writing. it was beautiful writing. And I have one place in the book that really, it was, I don't know if I can find it, but her friend, she's having a real difficult time dealing with some things. And her friend says, okay, this is what you need to do. She said, sit down, and it was kind of a meditation thing, and you take deep breaths and you go to this place, your most favorite memory in your life, in your childhood. What is it that, if you need to be centered and calm and everything, what is it that draws you in, that think about? Because she told her childhood, because that's her dad died when she was 12, and so that's what she did. She thought about when he took her to the university, and it got her the sketch pad, and how his support of her art and everything. And it was just something. I closed my eyes and I tried to act like I was Lonnie, and I took some deep breaths, and I thought, and what came to my mind immediately was my grandfather. My grandfather had an old blue bus that he sold auto parts out of. And he was a traveling salesman. And this is way back when, in the 60s, when you had the full service stations and you had the own, site mechanics, and people would come in, and he had different route every day, and he would go somewhere and he would sell them parts. And so that's where my mind went, and I just kind of relived being there. The little chair that he built me to sit next to him, and the bus is right over there with a lot of books on it that my granddaughters use all the time. And so that's what I mean. I loved this book because it made me remember things in my life previously that meant a lot to me, and I just had to smile at that, because I just thought, oh, that was a great thing, that it made me relive something positive from my childhood.
And that's a sign of a great book, whenever whenever you can connect to it, that was really
so I would definitely encourage anyone to read The Marsh Queen, and it's just a lovely book, and I'm looking forward to more books from her, I hope, in the future, because it's kind of hard. I know she is a professor and works with the Writer's Center, but this is her debut novel.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so it's a really good, so I definitely give it 5 stars. And again, I would say one more time to say, just if you're looking for a book club, we know Book of the Month is great. We look forward to our boxes from there every month, but I really enjoyed the Aardvark Book Club, and hope that people give them a chance, because I think you can never have too many books, regardless of what our husbands say. You can never have too many books or too much good wine.
Exactly.
That's right. So this has been fun. Oh, and I know you like Malbec. And so next week, it'll be your turn to review a book.
Yes.
And I'm saving this bottle for you for then.
Nice. So Malbec is my favorite one. Now, next week, I hopefully will be finished reading White Horse, which was my Book of the Month pick this month, and it's kind of a celebration of Native American History Month, as Erica T. Worth is a Native American writer. Yeah, you can probably see the tape where my her grandchild took scissors to my dust jacket today. Children. But yeah, so far I'm only about 50 pages in, but it is a delightfully creepy novel with a few ghost stories, a few Native American artifacts, and I am really looking forward to finishing this off. And that's what I plan to review next week for our weekly wine. And I'm also going to talk about a few other Native American authors that I've read in the past. So if you're looking for something to read this November, that's what we're going to hit on in our video next week.
That's good.
So White Horse, if you want to read with me, Erica T. Worth. If you like creepiness, this is your cup of tea. It's already a good creepy read.
That's good. All right, well then I guess next week we'll try your favorite wine. hear about your book, and we'll have some links in
yes,
on our blog.
Check the blog and check the information on the video for links to, of course, Becky's wine page, as well as to our blog, to the books that we talk about. And thank you guys. Until next time, this has been The Weekly Wine.